to New Year. I'm excited. I've got a new setup here in my studio. If you're watching on the video, you'll be able to see that. End of the year, best time to review what's going on and reset. And that's what I've done. And I've got some exciting changes happening to the podcast, which I'm looking forward to sharing on today's episode. I'm Ian Hawkins, and this is Sport is Life. The purpose of sport, as I see it, is to see your vision become a reality. Find your voice, create strong connections, and learn to trust your body. Welcome to 2025 on the Sport is Life podcast. Before I get into the changes, just quickly, it was a bit of an abrupt end to the podcast in 2024 without any announcements. I wanted to spend more time in the lead up to that State of the Game episode, which is the last episode that was published on Boxing Day. Get a bit more explanation around that. But honestly, I was cooked and I needed a break, and that's what I did. And the plan is to come back and change things up a bit. Whoever said that you shouldn't mix your passion with your work, I reckon they're off their head. I worked at Fox Sports for 18 years and I loved it. It was so good working in that space. Now, got to be honest, I didn't love my work all of that time, and it took me a while to find purpose in what I was doing there. But what I loved is being fully immersed in sport. Towards the end, though, when my time was coming to the end and I realized my time had come to an end and it was time to move on, I fell out of love with sport a bit. And it probably took me 18 months from stepping away from that job before I really re-engaged properly, because it had become work. And even though the early incarnations of my business back in 2014 were very much sport related, and they were so for a couple of years there, I was doing some work with youngsters and also with mentoring elite athletes. I went on a bit of a tangent for a while, learned what I needed to learn, but also realizing that sport is such a big part of my life. It is my passion. And when I'm doing that sort of work, which life has had a way of pushing me into that space, I'm doing more work in that space. That's come to me. I haven't necessarily invited that back in. And it's made me realize how much I love it and how much I want to share more around sport. Obviously, still the life lessons, obviously still the things that we can learn that are going to be able to cross between the two, that you're going to be able to map across those lessons that are applicable. But we need to talk more sport. That's what we love, right? So that's the plan. For those watching this on YouTube or one of the other video platforms, you'll notice the new layout. My son came to us, our son came to us end of last year. He wanted to get a bigger bed. Him and his girlfriend are jamming into a single bed. They've finished school, so they're kind of getting to that part of their life. And he needed a bigger room. So I used to be in this office. He wanted to be there because it was the other end of the house away from his parents, which I get. The good part for me is he's left his gaming computer here, so I've got that as part of my setup. I've also got a much cleaner it's a proper office. It's not spread out with a whole lot of other things going in here. So I'm loving the new setup. If you're watching it on the video, let me know what you think. Any suggestions? I've got a heap of sports books down there, which we'll get into on other episodes. A little bit of memorabilia dug out. I've got the Don Bradman bat and ball, which I did think I might have given away, but I managed to find it. So that's pretty cool. And just in terms of the visual setup, it's far better. It's also better for sound too. I've got the headphones on, which will be not now, but will be fantastic for the interviews as well. And yeah, really happy with it. So jump onto YouTube, check it out, let me know. And while you're there, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. There's also some changes coming up. So I talk about the Facebook community. That's going to change. There's actually going to be the existing group is still there, and if you've joined it, great, but the name's changed. That's actually going to be Sport is Life Club VIP for those who are looking for more than just the regular stuff. You're going to get a heap of free stuff in there. So if you're already in there, great. If you're not, you can go and join. But there's going to be a new group. It's going to be a public group. I'm going to be sharing more sport. It's more of a lighthearted take on things. I noticed over the Christmas break, I only posted two things. One was a bit of a lighter side, comparing the ball tracker to Virat Kohli's change of direction to shoulder charge our Sammy Constas, and it got like tens of thousands of interactions. So I was like, okay, well, people want to see more of that. And then a couple of my trips to the cricket also did huge numbers. So I'm going to share more of that sort of stuff and encourage you guys to do the same. It's going to be a space there where you can talk about your own sporting journeys, your own sporting stories, share what you're doing on the weekend, a place to share some of those sporting moments that you have. Maybe you've got some on video already. I'd have to dig through my archives, but some of the things that come to mind are the 2005 Socceroos World Cup qualifier, Steve Waugh's 100 off the last ball of the day. Been to some good ones, and I'm sure you guys have too. So for sharing that stuff and sharing what you're up to in the world of sport, and also there'll be, of course, some stuff in there you can learn from and apply to your life as well. So that's one part of what we're going to do. So it's the new group is going to be a lighthearted take on sport and life for the sports-minded, success-driven man. So it's going to be exclusively male group. If you're a female listening to this, then there's plenty of places for women on the internet, but limited places for men, and especially ones that are safe for men to talk about what they love. So that's the plan. And it's also, I was thinking about over the holidays, that the break that I had, and it's amazing what clarity comes when you step away, is that life needs to be more fun, needs to be more laid back. We can't be serious all the time. It can't be all about learning. So we're going to get that balance right, and this podcast is going to reflect that as well. There's going to be more roundtable discussions. The feedback I've got on that one on cricket were great. Felt a bit clunky from my perspective. It's the first time I've done something like that, but I really enjoyed it, and the experts were awesome. One of them was talking about how he said cricket was stale, and he messaged me after the last two tests against India, which were absolute crackers, and then started to question what he'd said. But I think he's right. There still needs to be some change up, apart from the test matches against the big teams, India and England, Australia and England. There probably is a fair bit of staleness there that needs addressing. More episodes around current issues like I've already been doing. My take on different situations, like I'll probably do something on the Virat Kohli thing and maybe what was going on in his head and why he reacted the way he did. And just more general sport not more general sport, I'm going to do general sport where I just talk about something that's going on, because for me personally, I love just listening to people talk about sport from their perspective. And I've got a few guests lined up. One in particular, I'm happy he comes back to me soon, is someone I always loved to listen to. He was a former NRL first grade coach. He's someone I used to love listening to on the radio, and like, his just commentary of it was just always really interesting. So more of that sort of stuff, more awesome guests. I've got some big ones lined up who you're going to love, higher profile guys as well, and of course some everyday sports people just like you and me. I've got a new guest who's going to come on regularly. We're going to bounce ideas off each other. I'm excited about that. That person's probably going to be a bit green and maybe a bit nervous for the first couple, but I reckon he's going to pick it up really quickly, because he always does. And of course, you're going to continue to get more coaching episodes where I do my best to coach you guys on the sort of things that I know you want to hear about, and that I can see from the episodes that are getting the most traction, the things that are really things you're interested in. So that's it for 2025. Probably not huge changes, but it's a fairly significant change in direction for me. I'm going to go more focused now on that sport angle, and I'm really excited about that, because that's something that I love to have as part of my life. And if you're here listening to this, then I'm sure you do as well. Any feedback, always welcomed, good, bad, anything in between. And I'm looking forward to taking this journey with you over this year. The new group is facebook.com/groups/ I think I'm getting this part right. Fox Sports, man, flashbacks. Sport is Life Club. That will be the new public group. And if you're following me, you'll see it pop up somewhere as well anyway. See you on the next episode. I hope you have had a great Christmas, New Year, and looking forward to ripping in and having a cracking 2025. Speak soon. You've taken the time to listen to this whole episode. Now it's time to take action. Commit to one thing you've learned today and make it happen. And to avoid any obstructions, join the Sport is Life movement by clicking on the link in the show notes.